Billionaire Ray Dalio says Ocasio-Cortez's ideas are taking root. All right. She may not be in Davos, but Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's influence is already being felt on the slopes of the Swiss Alps. All right, so I'm not familiar with this, with who this Dalio person is, to tell you the truth. I don't know who they are. This was sent to me. 3 weeks after the Congresswoman for New York called for an income tax rate of as much as 70% on the wealthiest Americans, billionaire investor Ray Dalio suggested that the idea may have legs in the run-up to the presidential election. Discussing the outlook for a slowing world economy, Dalio said that next year will see the beginning of thinking about politics and how that might affect economic policy beyond. Something like the talk of the 70% income tax, for example, will play a bigger role. He didn't mention Ocasio-Cortez by name. There's an element, yeah, where people are going to have to start paying their fair share, Ocasio-Cortez told Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes on January 6th. Once you get to the tippy tops on your $10th million, sometimes you see tax rates as high as 60 or 70%. Don't you guys love how they kind of nixed that part when she mentioned on your 10th millionth dollar? The way the corporate media have reported, they're implying she wants to just tax 70% of everything. That's not what that is. That's not what that is. It's a tax once you get to a certain point. Once you get to a certain point of wealth that no individual would need. That no individual would need. That's where it gets to. But I love how people try to forget that part. I love how people try to forget that part. They love to pretend like that's not the case. All right, so let's get back to the article. That may be anathema to at least some of the global elite gathered in Davos this week. The fortunes of a dozen attendees at the World Economic Forum in 2009 have soared by a combined $175 billion, a Bloomberg analysis found. The same cannot be said for people on the other end of that social spectrum. A report from Oxfam on Monday revealed that the poorest half of the world saw their wealth fall by 11% last year. So here's something that I want to pose, and we'll chat about this more at the end. Why do we need billionaires? Why does that need to be a thing? And I know that there's going to be some people, whoa. Now you're going against capitalism. Yeah, I am. Yes, I am. That's exactly what I'm doing. There's no reason that we need billionaires in our world. There's no reason. There's no reason anybody needs that amount of wealth. There's no reason why it should happen. There should be some protections that stop something like that from happening. There's nothing wrong with price ceilings when it reaches a certain point, because nobody needs that amount of wealth. Nobody needs that amount of wealth. You can have millions and you'll never need, your children will never need, and you still have plenty to give back to society. And if you in any way entertain that idea that billionaires are somehow, necessary for an economy to thrive because they're job creators. Jeff Bezos. Do you need another? That guy, look at what he's doing. Look at the way he mistreats workers. The fact that Amazon workers don't have a living wage. Also, look at what Walmart does. They do have the demand for jobs, but then they burden a society because they don't give people living wages. And they expect the community to just pick up the slack. And those workers deserve a living wage because they're working an honest job for 40 frickin' hours a week. That was the whole idea of the United States at one point. You work an honest job 40 hours a week. It doesn't matter what it is. You deserve a living wage. All of a sudden, that's not the case anymore. For somebody to become a billionaire, you have to have a certain level of all-encompassing greed that most people can't relate to. That's just true. Like that's just a fact. And I'm not trying to lean too heavy on the ethos here, but I guess I am, and whatever, it happens. But just the idea that billionaires need to be something that society has. They're not. It shouldn't happen. It just shouldn't. You can still have millions of dollars and never want or need anything and be set forever. It just doesn't make sense to me why that needs to be a thing. Like, why we don't see that as a problem when the wealth disparity is this thick. It's this thick.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make